Good morning to all. Welcome to my class. Today I am going to talk about the dural venous sinuses, which is very important clinically as well as anatomically. The objectives of this today's topic, it includes the layers of the meninges and folds formation by the dura mater and dural venous sinuses, classification of the dural venous sinuses, unpaired sinuses, paired sinuses, and clinical anatomy. The meninges is consisting of three layers: dura mater, arachnoid mater, and pia mater. You can see here in this image and diagram, the outermost layer is the dura mater. The vessels and nerves are consisting of the arachnoid mater. The pia mater is adherent to the brain, and here the outermost layer of the dura mater is consisting of the two layers. The outer layer is called as the endothelial layer, and inner layer is the meningeal layer. Within this layer, the venous sinuses are present, and you can see that there is a here superior sagittal sinus. It receives the blood from the emissary vein and diploic veins, and also from the superior cerebral veins. And you can see that arachnoid trabeculae or granulation, which are protruded into the superior sagittal sinus, that will be absorb the CSF, and this information will give the better understanding of the dural venous sinuses. And here in this slide, we can able to see the dura mater is in the form of folds. There is a four folds we are going to observe. There is a falx cerebri, tentorium cerebelli, falx cerebelli, and diaphragmatic sella. Within these folds, all the dural venous sinuses are present. Approximately 21 sinuses are present, the paired and unpaired. The dural venous sinuses are located intracranial cavity. All the layers, all the venous sinuses present within the two layers of the dura mater. All the dural venous sinuses are finally terminate through the internal jugular vein, and because of this venous sinuses has no walls and no muscle coat, so hence blood will be freely movable to the one place to the other place very quickly. Let us know about the characteristic features of the sinuses. This includes lined by the endothelium, no muscular coat, and no valves. So that's why blood will flow bilateral directions, and it will be collect the blood from the brain, meninges, orbit, internal ear, and deploy to maintain the internal and external venous pressure through the emissary veins, and projection of arachnoid granulation into the sinuses for CSF absorption. This we know in the superior sagittal sinus. Classification of the dural venous sinuses for our convenient, it will be divided into paired sinuses and unpaired sinuses. Unpaired sinuses are superior sagittal sinus, inferior sagittal sinus, straight sinus, and very small sinus is there in occipital bone, that is the occipital sinus. And in front of the cavernous sinus there is a anterior cavernous sinus, and behind the cavernous sinus there is a posterior cavernous sinus we are going to observe. And behind the cavernous sinus we can able to see a small plexus of basilar veins we are going to observe. These veins are very important clinically. And classification of the paired sinuses, which are present in the intracranial cavity on right and left side. We can able to see the very large sinus, cavernous sinus, which are present in the middle cranial fossa of the sphenoidal bone, body of the sphenoid bone, and sphenoparietal sinus anterior to the cavernous sinus, and posterior to the cavernous sinus there is a superior petrosal sinus, inferior petrosal sinus, middle meningeal sinus, and sigmoid sinus is the largest sinus, transverse sinus. And confluence of the sinus is nothing but it will be junction of the sinuses meeting together. And some authors, they are included the petrosquamous sinus. As per my knowledge, petrosquamous sinus is a fetal vein and disappear by birth. If it is present, that will be drains into the transverse sinus. Let us know each sinus description. Superior sagittal sinus, it will be lies within the upper margin of the two layers of the falx cerebri. It extends from the crista galli to the occipital protuberance. Then it will be drains into the right side of the transverse sinus. This sinus is consisting of the some tributaries. These are superior cerebral veins, parietal emissary veins, venous lacunae, and veins of frontal sinuses, and veins of nasal cavity. And superior sagittal sinus is commonly insulted by the thrombosis. Let us the picture, that one that shows that there is a superior sagittal sinus blood clot or thrombosis is occur, because this superior sagittal sinus receive the blood from the scalp and from the area of nose, diploic veins. Infection of these areas can adverse affect to the superior sagittal sinus and form the thrombosis or hemorrhage. This will be obstruct the blood flow within the brain and leads to the reduce the outflow to the brain and increase the venous pressure. And this kind of thrombosis is called as a cerebral venous thrombosis. It indicates the danger to the brain because it is due to the effect of either injury to the scalp or hypertension. Inferior sagittal sinus. Here, this sinus is located in the lower free margin of the falx cerebri, and it will be ends with the great cerebral vein to form the straight sinus. You can see that there is a straight sinus. You can see that here there is a great cerebral vein. These are the great cerebral vein is joins with the great cerebral vein to form the straight sinus. Straight sinus, it is located within the junction of the falx cerebri and tentorium cerebelli. Then here it is a continuation of the inferior sagittal sinus. Then it will be drains into the left transverse sinus. The tributaries of the straight sinus are inferior sagittal sinus, great cerebral vein, superior cerebellar veins. You can see that these are the veins which are closely associated with the drains into the straight sinus, very small sinus, and occipital sinus. The occipital sinus is a small sinus lies within the attached margin of the falx cerebelli. Then it will begins near the foramen magnum and ends in the confluence of the sinuses. You can see that confluence of the sinuses here, which receive the blood from the different sinuses. The anterior cavernous sinus is present in the anterior to the cavernous sinus, in front of the cavernous sinus, and posterior to the cavernous sinus, posterior intra cavernous sinus is present. Both are communicate with the in either side of the cavernous sinus. The basilar venous plexus, here this small plexus is forming the network of the veins lying on the clivus of the skull. It connects the two inferior petrosal sinus. You can see that here, inferior petrosal sinus, small petrosal sinus we are going to observe, and communicate with the intervertebral venous sinuses. These plexus further communicate with the cavernous sinus. Paired sinuses. Regarding the superior petrosal sinus is concerned, it lies in the anterior part of the attached margin of the tentorium cerebelli, in the petrous part of the temporal bone. You can see that it will be superior petrosal sinus, which are communicate with the cavernous sinus and transverse sinus. And whereas the inferior petrosal sinus is concerned, it will lies in the petro-occipital fissure. It drains into the cavernous sinus and then internal jugular vein. You can see that here the communication between the two veins The transverse sinus is the largest sinus of the dural venous sinuses, that will be situated in the margin of tentorium cerebelli, and then it will be a continuation to the sigmoid sinus. The important thing is the right transverse sinus is larger than the left transverse sinus. The right transverse sinus receive the blood from the superior sagittal sinus, and whereas the left transverse sinus receive the blood from the striate sinus. Then finally these transverse sinuses both are drains into the sigmoid sinuses, which are S-shaped. The tributaries of the transverse sinus indicate to the red in color here: diploic vein, superior petrosal sinus, inferior cerebellar vein, inferior cerebral veins, inferior petrosal sinus. And if it is any thrombosis is occur within the transverse sinus, that will be adverse effect to the, these are the tributaries as well as the other venous sinuses. Sigmoid sinus, it is a look like a S shape. You can see that sigmoid sinus, it is a curved downward forward to the posterior margin of the jugular foramina. It lies in the mastoid part of the petrous bone, and it will be terminate into the jugular through the jugular foramina into the internal jugular vein. You can see that internal jugular vein, and the sigmoid sinus and transverse sinus collectively called as a lateral sinus by the clinicians, and tributaries of the sigmoid sinus is mastoid and condylar emissary veins, internal auditory vein, and cerebellar veins. Thrombosis of the sigmoid sinus is indicated to the secondary infection to the middle ear and mastoid process. And here the paired sinuses, that will be include the sphenoparietal sinus, is lies along the free margin of the lesser wing of the sphenoid bone and drains into the cavernous sinus. Middle meningeal sinuses are also consisting of the two trunks, frontal trunk and parietal trunk. These two trunks are correspondence with the middle meningeal arteries. And pitosquamous sinus is concerned, it is a fetal vein. It disappears by birth. If it is present, it will be drains into the transverse sinus. Check your memory to identify the dural venous sinuses. As I already explained about the superior sagittal sinus, inferior sagittal sinus, transverse sinus, occipital sinus, confluence of the sinuses, superior petrosal, inferior petrosal, and sphenoparietal. I have to identify these sinuses, and these are the viva voice questions related with the dural venous sinuses. And cavernous sinus is concerned, you can see the separate video which is very important topic. These are the frequently asked questions about the sinuses, the transverse sinus, sigmoid sinus, and other sinuses also very important. Thank you all of you for watching.